You
Awesome.
guys
Thank you.
have like all both have good backgrounds, like you collect stuff. I'm in a funeral home right now, so I have urns and a collection of urns.
I feel like there's like that opens up so many questions more than anything. But well, I'll say good morning to both of you. I believe the correct time zone there because it's very
I'm in Texas, so no, it's actually after lunch here.
afternoon. Okay, well, it's super early on Saturday here, so you're gonna have a great day regardless. I'll say that much.
Thanks. Nice
Thank
to meet you, Peter.
You
you.
too. I've just finished watching the film. It's super fresh. Congratulations to both of you. As I like going into films lately and just not knowing anything possible. So it was kind of one of those movies that
Well, I
really
like
took
to
my
ask. I don't know
really
anything.
like really took me by surprise and like kind of let everything like wash over me. It was, a lot more emotional than I was expecting. I'm just also quickly going to say to you, John Michael, the shot towards the end of like I guess like the ricochet, we'll say, of the characters kind of lined up, incredible, like the way that that was executed. And like I know that I wanted to start with the fact that like what's baked into like the DNA of the film, like it doesn't feel like it's set in Arkansas. It kind of feels like it's grown out of Arkansas, if that makes sense. Like, sweat, soil, history sort of in every frame. Like, John Michael, like how did your personal relationship with that landscape, like the loyalty, the silence, and that, like how did that sort of shape the tone of the story for you?
I mean, in every way. I mean, I grew up in North Little Rock in the central part of the state. I had family that lived, in rural Arkansas. I was that kid who ran around in the woods, barefoot and like just exploring land. Like the beautiful thing about growing up when I did in the 80s, when there were no cell phones and there were no, tablets, I spent most of my time in the woods and playing outside and like, finding a connection to the place. And I don't know, I was just all the thing when you're a kid is like when you explore places, there's there's like there's a beauty obviously, but there's also these folk tales that come from these places that feel almost scary and like I don't know, as a child it was always easy to build stories in my mind. I was always a storyteller and you might follow a creek down some strange wooded area and you find an abandoned encampment or something and you create a whole story about who the crazy person is who lives in that little whatever. And Arkansas is a land that is rich with those types of stories and tales and it's just always been in my DNA and always a desire of mine to tell stories in this world because quite frankly it's not a world that gets put on camera that often. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean I was excited to make a movie set in Arkansas.
No, it's funny hearing that. Like, it's like I feel like such a like grumpy old man when I'm sort of like kids today don't know what it's like to go outside, but it's true. Like, it's like you would go outside and make the world your own, and it was like when it was starting to get dark, that's when you knew to come back. But you just have this incredible like journey outside. So I definitely can understand that, and like Billy, like stepping into that world with like all its the weight and the weather of it. Like, how did that? I guess how did the setting inform who Lucas became to you?
I grew up in Georgia, so like that same kind of adventure
Yeah.
of that John Michael has, yeah, it kind of is ingrained in me as well. Yeah, the setting, like we shot in the Ozarks, we shot everything's practical, so it's not you don't have to use your imagination that much when it's already that gorgeous.
Mm.
So I just give it up to John Michael for setting the table so deliciously.
Yeah. And I know, John Michael, you've like called this like an anti-Western, like, but it still has that mythic rhythm, like the men, the morality and that sort of thing. Like, were you consciously, I guess, like dismantling like the honest man with the gun myth while still loving the form that created it at the same time?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I love Westerns. I mean, Once Upon a Time in the West was a huge influence on this film. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Don't get me wrong, I love, that era of film. And yes, I'm drawn to the myth of it because I think when you grow up in rural America, you're confronted with that myth all the time. And what I what I wanted to do and what I knew where I could put my spin on it is, in a very like modern sense, the thing I don't love about those Westerns is the callousness with which death is handled. Like, the John Wayne movies that are fun where you see, John Wayne shooting and people falling over. There's no real onus put on what it means to take a life, and like the bad guy gets dispatched and we just move on. And this movie was a way to try to confront that myth in a different way. And you know the thing about Westerns is it's not real. We created the myth of the West. It wasn't the reality. And this noble white, man on a horse with a gun dispatching of savages is completely fabricated, and it's not real. And so I wanted to confront that in a different way and show, that sure, there's aspects of the West that are amazing. We have our own showdown at the OK Corral. We have our man in black, we have our man in white, we have all those things that are iconic, but then putting the onus on the audience to realize, the weight of what these myths actually mean. And yeah, and ultimately I hope people watch this movie and think about the consequences of taking a life, because it's not something that should be glossed over.
Yeah, and like Lucas spends the whole film kind of, I guess, like trying to prove that he's not his family. Like, but sometimes like the harder we resist our roots, like, the more we reveal them. Like, Billy, was there a moment where like you realized, like, I mean, like you were closer to Lucas than you wanted to admit at all?
Yeah, of course. When I think of acting, I don't think it's like you're transforming or anything. I think you're just dialing up certain aspects of yourself that you could make real and connect with them. Um, I think we all have that thing. I think my family, in a different way, I grew up a certain way, blue collar family, and knowing that like there was that path in my life or this path that I've created on my own, that I don't forget that stuff that built me as a man, but you find your own journey. So I found that so relatable with Lucas.
Because I was like one of the early scenes in the film, I think it's like James is eating at the diner with Kate Burton's character, and he's like eating ribs, and it felt like such a distinct like character move and choice. And I was wondering, I guess, like separate from conversations that Billy you had with John Michael and me, John Michael, that you sort of thought of yourself, were there anything specific to Lucas in terms of either movement or clothing or like cologne or something that made him specific to you that you came up with on your own?
I mean, for me, I don't know, Billy, how you feel about this, but for me, like once I see and we make the choice on wardrobe, that's a big one for me. It's just like you see, yeah, it's just like obviously you see the period, you see the socioeconomic, status, you see the way the character views themselves in the world. Um, that's a big moment for me. I think another one was, and this is just quite frankly, like when I wrote this script, I didn't imagine someone with Billy's physique coming in. Billy was also coming off the franchise, and he was playing, a superhero. And when Billy showed up, and I saw kind of, how bulky he was and how big he was, I was, and I mean this in the least sexual way, but I was so excited. I was like, because what I mean is
You
suddenly you
call that
see
country strong, baby.
country
Country
strong.
strong. You don't lift weights, you move weight.
That's right. That's it. And you felt that in Lucas. Like it was when I saw him in the wardrobe and the way he embodied it, I was like, well, okay, this is not the character that I wrote. This is the character that Billy is going to make it, and it's going to be so much better than it was on the page. And I think it's one of the things I'm most proud of the movie is like Billy's ability to, most people know him from like lighter things like Game Night or, The Big Short, these like, but like he embodies the mythic Western male in such a unique way that I honestly, quite frankly, I don't think there are very many actors these days that still used to have the John Waynes and the Robert Mitchums and these people who were men in a very traditional, sense. And there aren't a lot of actors who can do that. And Billy, to his credit, just I think he's taken a turn here that like nobody will see coming, and it's an extraordinary.
No one sees me as masculine. It's really weird.
What, what's that?
No one sees me as masculine.
Well, wait till they see this movie.
It feels very like, if you, what is it? You don't have to, if you always stay ready, you don't have to get ready. It felt very like that for you, Billy.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah,
And I know,
always be prepped.
and I know that, like, just quickly before I leave, like, I know that you said that, like, Billy gave everything, like, physically, emotionally. Like, I'm curious, was there, like, a night where the performance and the exhaustion kind of, like, collided in something new, cracked open, like, both as a director and for you, Billy, as an actor?
Every day I'm exhausted. Are you kidding me? 40 years old now, I'm always tired. I
Yeah.
don't, you know what it is more than anything? I think you act better when you're tired because you just get rid of all the bullshit. You just get rid of the bullshit. Just focus on what you need to put your energy into and tell the story as clear as possible. I don't know if that
I,
answers the question, but
Yeah, and to piggyback off that, I think, Billy might not feel the same way. From my perspective, there's a sequence in this movie, I don't want to give too much away, but it happens inside a barn. It's
Mm.
a big mo moment for Billy's character. It's a heavy lift of a scene. We had shot a lot of that was a night we had shot during the day, so that it was a long day. And Billy is, it's an independent production. You're shooting at night. It's getting to be 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're, as you said, you're getting tired. You're exhausted. There is something raw about that scene. It's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, and Billy's performance is so, for a movie that's so aggressive, and that scene has its undertones of aggression, but there's something so vulnerable in that scene that again, I'm going to go back to the masculinity thing. It's just oftentimes you don't see that vulnerable side of masculinity, especially in westerns and movies like this, thrillers, and I think some of that comes with the exhaustion of where we were in the production, the days, all this. I know I'm sure Billy is putting a lot on his pressure on his shoulders to perform in these big moments and these big scenes. But that's a scene where, when we finished it, we were exhausted, and there's a whole sequence where we're doing practical effects and blowing blood in Billy's face, and he's taking it 30 times in the face, and despite all that, it's just to see
take
a
it to
scene.
the face.
Yeah, I mean, when that scene happened, I was like, this movie, we have a movie. Like this is the heart of the movie, and that scene and that
It is
performance.
funny they're like the production we're doing now. There's always a day or like a scene that happens, and you're like, okay, we got a movie. It's
Yep.
funny. That always happens. You're like, oh, okay, I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Wasn't it Godard who was somebody, one of those filmmakers who said you just need a few good scenes in a movie and you've got a movie.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
luckily, all of the scenes came together very well for this one, and like I will, yeah, I'll just reiterate, like I was like, the films that I've seen Billy in, yeah, they have been lighter, but then we've slowly sort of seen you getting, I guess, into darker territory, but this was definitely sort of the most, I guess, grounded in a way. Like it really is an incredible performance, and as the film goes, and like you just sort of move, I guess, you want to sort of be that initial softer character, and just circumstances pull you to the inevitable. And it really is an incredible film, and it's just so beautiful at the end, as well as being kind of bittersweet. And I know that you said like you want this to be the like what Godfather was for the Italian gangsters, for like the southern like ne'er-do-wells, and
Man, we're
I
making a redneck Godfather. Let's
yeah.
go.
Yes.
Well, I mean, yeah, take like success, I think, and like yeah, like hats off to everybody. The ensemble and this is incredible. I'm going to be speaking to Alexander and Nick soon. So I
Good,
just
good. Yeah, shout out to them, James, everyone.
yeah,
They were great.
Yeah,
it's yeah,
even even the little like day players who are from Arkansas who only show up. Ray McKinnon is incredible in this movie. He only
mm.
has like really one scene, but him and Billy are utterly compelling together.
Did he
So
show up to the screening the other night?
he's in Europe shooting, so he couldn't make
So
it.
I
But
wasn't the only one who couldn't show up. Okay.
you weren't. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Feel bad.
Yeah.
Well, no, as I said, like thank you so much for taking the time out, and it really is so it makes me very happy as someone who loves the movies and watches a lot of movies, that we're still seeing things like this being made, like
Yeah,
quality. It's,
well,
like, it's going to cinema, so it's like that's even more of an amazing thing as well.
Yeah, but just to acknowledge that, like, we made this on like a shoestring budget, and to create a story like this, I think it's the power of John-Michael and all the producing partners that could put a film like this together. It's cool that you don't need the craziness. Would we have loved a bigger budget? Of course, but
Yeah.
it shows you like art can be manifested kind of out of anything. A dream.
Yeah. There was a sequence where we did have Tom Cruise scheduled to jump out of a plane, and but we had to cut
But
it.
yeah, over
He
budget.
had commitments.
That's all right. Well, maybe in the next one we'll get one of you to do the run. That's what we need. So.
I will argue Billy does the run in this movie. There's a sequence in this movie that Billy's run is exceptional, and I want to call that out. He's a great runner.
That's fair actually. Well, thank you again. Thank you both so much, and congratulations again. It really is it's an incredible film, and it's like one of those ones that just I can't wait for it to like really take everybody by surprise, and for everyone to sort of learn, more about your voice, John-Michael, and Billy's. As we said, we finally see you as a man, Billy. It's great.
Fine. Thank God. Thank God. I guess you didn't see my work in Aladdin, because that was
Actually, it's actually on that one of those top shelves right there for you.
Nice. Nice.
that was one of my
Groundedest.
groundedest characters. Oh God. Oh God. I'm in between shooting right now doing these interviews. I'm always exhausted.
You're
That's
doing
all right.
great.
I very much appreciate it. So I'll let you get back to your day. So thank you both so much.